Hello there, my name is Bear and I'm here to show you how to get the best from your Love Flumies. Let me begin by the most important thing. Your Flumies will come in a soft cotton bag and I recommend you keep them in there and take them out when you play. It's very important that you clean the Flumies so you get the best, most enjoyment from your Flumi playing and you get those refined sounds that you enjoy. So here's the smallest one is the 1.1 and I'm going to show you how to clean these. I've already moistened this damp microfiber cloth and just using the finger, it's very gently like this. You want to avoid using the finger and thumb, just one finger like this. To clean the larger Flumies, they're a bit more robust. There we are. And you can be a bit more, there we are. Make sure they're all clean. When you're playing these small Flumies, the super high, they can get dirtier if there's some debris on the gong and you want to make sure, just look at them, see if there's any marks. After you've been playing gong, put them back in the soft cotton bag and I recommend having some sort of case. I use old leather vintage cases and they work really well. In this way, your Flumi, which is an investment like your gong, will last you many, many years. So let's talk about how to use them, how to play with these. And I'm going to demonstrate. You hold it between your finger and thumb and it rests on your little finger too. The thumb doesn't have to be opposite the forefinger, but there's like this tripod action. These other two fingers, they don't do anything. So I call this the backhand or the open hand. And you can hold anywhere from down here up to here. You don't want to go closer than this because you can damage the Flumi ball. And it requires the most gentlest touch. So this is a backhand sweep. I'm facing the gong. This backhand is opposed to the forehand, which is like this. And it's so easy with the forehand to put too much pressure on the ball and under no circumstances play with your thumb closer because it will damage the Flumi. And if I play from further down the shaft up, I can generate different sounds. This is the 1.1, the 1.3 and the 1.6. The same technique. And you can have a number of these in your hand. If you're playing with the left hand, you play on the right. If you play with the right hand, you play on the left. As opposed to the carbon fibre shafted Flumies, the larger Flumies which have a wooden shaft, they have a friction fit. You play these in a slightly different way. So if you open your hand and you bring your thumb round and you just push up, so it's off the forefinger and the thumb is touching the ball. The rest of the fingers curl round as if perhaps you're holding an injured bird that you don't wish to fall onto the floor. So there's a gentleness, but there's a firmness too. With these long, this is a number 8, and with something like this, this size, you use your other hand, for me it's my left hand, just to hold the bottom, and I use my finger and my thumb. Don't be in a rush for the sound. Let the sound blossom. When we play flumi, the Love Flumi with a gong, there's a relationship. Allow the gong to sing back, allow it a chance for the sound to blossom and to sing back before you play again. It may help to have one foot forward as you do this, if you're standing up to play. There's not much effort involved, and the gong hardly swings, reflecting my open mind, not busy with thinking about what I'm going to do, reflecting an inner stillness. This is a number 6. The number 6 is from the mid set. When I'm playing a big gong like this 80-inch, I might want to use 2 hands, but it's really important, as you'll see with the next smaller gong, that you'd learn with just 1 hand, and I'll explain more when we play the smaller gong. Holding in the same way, pushing up, off the forefinger, the thumb is facing the gong, the thumb is our strongest digit. And the reason I'm touching the ball is because I can control any bounce tendencies. You may notice also that the angle, rather than being perpendicular, comes out a bit here. And this will also help control any bouncing tendencies. So the two ways so far is using my thumb to push into the ball and altering the angle. Okay, let's try some these flumies on the smaller gong. So when we play Love Flumies on a smaller gong, it's the same thing. With the super high, gentleness is key. And this is the number 4. A good way to hold it is resting on the hand, pushing the thumb up so it's off the forefinger. And the fingers are curled round. And we're stroking the gong. Thumb is facing the gong, and whatever direction I want to go, the tail moves first. When I become more adept with this, I can learn how to make a drone sound. Which frees up my left hand. The gong's not moving much. Good feedback for your playing. This is the number 4.5. The number 5. The number 6. The number 6 in the mid set, you can use one hand, but I notice it is beginning to vibrate a little bit of jumping. So it really helps using the other hand. For me, it's my left hand, finger and thumb, just guiding really. It's a guide on the bottom of the shaft. So let's do that again. So we talk about bouncing. What does that mean when the flumi head bounces? Well, as it's caressing the gong surface, if it's moving too fast, if we're playing too hard or we're trying, the ball can bounce, and there's a number of ways to control this. One of them, as I already mentioned, is pushing the thumb up into the ball, the thumb tip. Another way is to slow down, but if we slow down, the sound changes, and we don't really want that too much. We want the sound to be like have a sweetness to it, rather than some undulation. So the other way I can control the bounce is by altering the angle that the shaft has relative to the gong. In other words, I bring it out, increasing this angle. And what that does, it provides a firmer contact of the flumi with the gong surface. there's a relationship between the size of the flumi and a particular gong diameter. This is a number 8. It's one of the lows to bring out the lowest notes from your gong. So for a number 8, I would recommend a 32-inch gong would be the smallest diameter. There's a number of ways of playing this. You saw me on the larger gong use this action, but because the gong is quite low, it's quite tricky to play like this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a different technique, and if I turn, perhaps you can see, I hold it in the same way with my thumb, just pushing off the forefinger, and as I bring my arm over, my wrists touch and it rests in this crook here with between my thumb and forefinger, and perhaps my thumb is just resting on the shaft. There's space under my arms, and I use this technique of just swiveling, turning my waist. If I use my arms to go across, the muscles are much smaller and it might judder, might vibrate. So I like the smoothness of my waist. So I need to get fairly close. And I just use my waist to It's really important that you have your thumb touching the ball, and to begin with, you're not pressing into the ball, you're just feeling through your thumb. You only start pressing if necessary to control the flumi. Think of the gong resting on the flumi rather than pushing onto the gong. And let the gong give it a chance to sing. One thing I haven't mentioned is that if you're playing outside, it's a good idea always using these, something clean. The soft cotton bags I keep clean. If you put them on the ground, it may pick up some debris, even some iron filings or something, and you're going to scratch your gong. So you clean your flumies, you put them in the bag. When you take them out, you give them a clean. If you're playing outside in the sunlight, it's a good idea just to cover the flumi head, and when you're ready to play, to remove it and play. The sun is the strongest thing in our solar system, so, and in this way you'll safeguard your investment. Thank you.